Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America and the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Great to have you with us on the program today. Website thisweekinamerica.us. The Streamlined Modification Initiative is in full swing, offering distressed homeowners another option to avoid foreclosure. Housing market analyst Mick Barron, president and founder of howtomodify.com, is with us to talk about on This Week in America. Mick, welcome to the program. Pleasure to have you with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Rick.
It's an interesting program, howtomodify.com. I know you've literally helped a number of homeowners keep their homes. And as I understand, this all came about out of a personal experience. Let's go back to 2008. You had some similar problems to the people that you're helping today.
Yeah, I was in the financial industry prior to this, and what I was seeing is when I was going through my financial difficulty because I had multiple properties and the property real estate values had gone down drastically, I had to modify myself. And what happened is, I had some failures in the beginning. I was one of the sad stories that you always hear, but then I started achieving success. And then an accounting firm, CPA firm that I'd been associated with for a number of years came to me and said, "Hey, it looks like you're doing really good here, and we have other clients that could use your help." So I went in as type of a consultant to help people, and they started achieving success. And then before we knew it, we had like 300 clients, and it just kept growing. And then I decided, well, this has got to be a business. If I can do it, everybody can do it. But not everybody can afford it. So we developed howtomodify.com as an educational software with a lot of videos, walks you through everything to make your modification more successful. And as you can go, if you go to the site and you look at it, you see some of the testimonials by clients, and it's really worked out well for a lot of people.
What you did, and a lot of people don't have the expertise or have the time to do it, when you were facing the financial difficulties, because of your financial background, you really were able to study banking requirements and knew exactly what they were looking for. And now you've taken that knowledge and making that available.
Yes, because some of the reasons why the biggest complaints of people is they're not getting modified, nothing's happening. Well, you have to look at the bank side too. And believe me, I'm a consumer advocate, not a bank advocate, but the banks are required to have certain information to help you with your modification process. The banks are very busy. They have a relationships manager that have several clients to look at one time. So it's best to give a relationship manager a complete package for the bank to help your modification walk through the process at a much faster rate. Our average modification takes 3 to 6 months. I've had callers from different shows call in, and they've been in modification 2.5 years. They've been declined 5 times. There's something wrong with that. In other words, you need to get through the modification as fast as you can. You can't wait 2.5 years, because if you're not making your payments, think about when the bill comes due and you're not modified. You just can't afford it and they foreclose. So what we try to do is when people get in trouble, we want them to start immediately in the program.
You're listening to This Week in America. Our website is thisweekinamerica.us. Mick Barron is our guest on the program, the president, founder, creator of howtomodify.com, self-help home loan modification system. Let's first of all talk about who's eligible. A lot of confusion with that. People are like, I am not sure whether I am or not. It's difficult getting the answers. Who all is eligible for the program?
Well, if you experience any type of hardship, you're eligible. There are certain, well, I say financial requirements. You have to have a hardship, and you have to have a job. I mean, or you have to have some source of income to make your payment. I've actually had clients call me, excuse me, not clients, but people call me, and they have no source of income to pay their bill. Well, there's not any programs I'm really aware of other than deferment programs until you find a job to help you keep your home. For the most part, on our website, if you go to it, we actually ask you to enter some very minor information, and it tells you if you're a good candidate or bad candidate. Again, there's so many different programs out there. You should at least try to get your home modified if you feel you have the need to, because you don't know what you're going to qualify for, because you don't know who your investor is. You don't know if you're going to qualify for under a government program or a private program. And there's so many different programs out there. I can't name them all.
Well, and that's what's so confusing from a consumer standpoint. If you're in trouble, you're scared, first of all, anyway. You're on the defense trying to figure out what you're going to do. And what you do basically at howtomodify.com is do a step-by-step guide. If you follow what's there, you've had amazing success with people and being able to get the modifications.
Yeah, we're almost at 100% success rate. I think we're at 99.25 or something like that with all our clients. What we do, again, is we give all the bank in a 5-step process all the information they're going to require to review your complete file. And again, let's use that term, complete file. We have to have that in order for the bank to process to the next step. Now, the bank's not obligated to necessarily call you and say, hey, we're missing your 2011 tax return, you didn't sign it. That's one of the major things that we see with clients. They send their 2011 tax returns in, and your most 2-year recent tax returns are a requirement for the bank. They forget to sign it. And the reason why the bank requires someone to sign it is because they want to make sure that you're validating it's your tax return, it's what you filed. They have other means that they check your taxes as well. But it's very important the bank has all that information so they can, check that box off and move on to the next step, which will be your underwriter to review your loan modification.
Are banks lowballing homeowners with modifications?
Well, from what I've been able to find out from statistics and all the press releases that have come out recently, our average loan modification, our client gets about 30% off their payment. Some better, some a little bit less, but for the most part, we're averaging about 30% off the monthly payment. Banks still make a great deal of money over a 30-year mortgage. I don't see any way the government's subsidizing those mortgages. I've had some people say that, but again, if you look at the numbers, the banks are still making profitability. One of the issues that I've seen in the press recently is there's a big default rate, and the people that are defaulting usually are the people that are getting a 10% or less modification off their monthly payment, somewhere between 5 to 10%. I think 49% of the consumers right now have received less than 10% in their modification. Now, if a person has a spouse that just lost a $30,000 a year job and they have a $1,000 a month monthly mortgage payment, they have a negative income, net income of $1,800 a month. So that $100 off your monthly payment is not going to help that much.
How do you get every last penny from the bank? How difficult is it? Is there a negotiating process here? If they come back and say, this is what we're doing, do you have to accept that? How does that work so we as consumers get everything we really should be getting?
Well, many times I think, and I was this way years ago. I was afraid to talk to the bank. I was a little concerned, bury your head in the banks, it's the sand. I think really what you have to do is the bank will give you a modification if you qualify, okay? And the qualifications are not credit related, so that's a very good thing. It's hardship related mostly. So what happens is they send you a modification, and maybe it's 5 or 10%. Well, I wouldn't just say that's the only modification qualify. I would ask, and many of our clients that come to us after receiving a very, very small modification through other means, a different company or possibly on their own, I look at them and none have said, no, I didn't think I could, request another modification review. And I said, yes, you're always entitled to another modification review. And there may be a program an underwriter has overlooked that you qualify for.
You're listening to This Week in America, our website, thisweekinamerica.us. You can log on and get information on Mick Barron. Mick is the president, founder, and creator of howtomodify.com, self-help home loan modification system. If you go to the website, it will answer a lot of your questions. It will show you what the process is all about. And one thing I want to talk about is, again, when people get in this position, they're not necessarily thinking rationally. They have a lot of people that are coming after them, scammers that are not really going to do anything for them except deplete their bank account even more. How do we avoid that? What are the red flags we should watch for?
Well, one of the biggest red flags I've seen is if someone's willing to take your money without reviewing your particular situation. I would be concerned about that because, again, not everybody qualifies. If you don't have income and you can't make your payment, it's hard for a bank to give you anything but a deferment. So I've seen that a lot. I've had clients come to our website, they email me and say, I paid somebody $3,000 to modify. I've never heard from them again. Our software is a self-help software. You're responsible for yourself, but we're giving you the information and tools you need to make your own modification successful.
Are there any state issues here, or is what you do that works in all 50?
We're a software program. In other words, we give you guidance through videos, through forms, through a call center service. So we go across all the states because, again, the individual is doing their own modification. We're just helping them. We're the instructor.
Howtomodify.com is the website. When someone comes to you and they've got the bank breathing down their necks and the last thing they want is another letter, another phone call, is it possible to stop all of that when you're in this process?
Yes, we have a third-party authorization call center, and what happens when you sign up for our program, you send that authorization for the banks to call us. The banks call us, give us your action items, and we will send you an email or a text, however you prefer, of the action items, and you should expect to follow up with the bank.
Something.
Go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
No, I just finish that thought because it's important.
And the nice thing about that is, you don't have to spend your time calling the bank, and we spend our time, and we just refer the information back to you.
How excited, how cooperative are banks in general? And I know that's a broad generalization. Do they make money on modification? Are they more concerned about actually going through the foreclosure process and making more money? In general, how are the banks to deal with?
Well, let's just look at the facts here, okay? The banks were given $20 billion to help modify loans for the distressed homeowner. $15 billion is still available, and this is for the administrative side. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to compensate the homeowner on the mortgage side for it. So administratively, the banks still have $15 million they can use and spend to help modify a home loan. The banks also have another situation that makes it a little bit tricky for them. They have mortgage insurance for homes that do foreclose, so they can foreclose as well. So I'm not really sure, if a company that's trying to modify and a company that has the ability to make more money foreclosing is the best situation. But it is what it is. So what I'm hoping for is, with all the pressure of the public and also a lot of government agencies coming involved now, that you're going to see more loan modifications be processed.
Mick's website is howtomodify.com. It's laid out very efficiently. You can look at that, get all the information. Among the services, home loan modification we've talked about, short sale, consulting services as well. Let's talk about short sale for a second. What kind of tool is that to use? And again, are the banks resistant to that?
No, the banks it helps the banks a lot because they don't have to go through the process of foreclosure, which is very expensive. And if you're a distressed homeowner, a short sale, if your house is worth less than what you owe on the mortgage, is a very good alternative for everyone.
So that works for everybody. And sometimes people will talk about, am I better off doing a home refinance if I'm able to do that, or a modification? Talk about the differences in the two.
Well, first of all, a refi is at a cost. It's never free. Even if they say it's no cost, you can probably look into the loan documents and see where it's built into the loan somewhere. And then also, a refi is necessary to have good credit, especially in this market. A modification doesn't really look at your credit. It looks at your need, it looks at your history with the bank. There's many factors that just make a modification, from a financial standpoint, just much easier than a refi.
One of the things that's so helpful with the website, howtomodify.com, is you have us get together all the necessary documents and make sure they're in proper order. Sign tax forms, that thing that you talked about before. And actually, I understand the process. Once you have the documents together, the application process is very simple, and at that point doesn't take a whole lot of time.
No, it's a matter of fact, on average, it takes you 15 to 20 minutes to complete our program. However, gathering the documents, putting the necessary information together, it may take a few hours. But if you have everything together, you should be able to finish this thing in 20 minutes. We have people testing our site on a daily basis. They go in there and they complete the site within 15 minutes.
When you look at the testimonials, and it's very interesting to look and see how basically you've given people their lives back by taking this away from them, keeping them in their present home. And basically, I know what you attempt to do is to make the process so thorough, and the self-help forms that are there so thorough, you're really eliminating a lot of possibilities for the bank to say no. In most cases, they can't say no because the information is all there correctly and meets the criteria.
Agreed. And one of the reasons why I started this was to help people. I mean, as a matter of fact, that was the main reason, is I had so many clients coming to me that couldn't afford the consulting service, so you needed my services. So we created the software program just basically to give an economical solution to help people. If you give the bank if you don't give the bank a reason to say no, they won't say no. And a lot of people get up very upset, and I've had clients come to me, they've tried to do a modification 5 times on their own, and then I look at their paperwork and I see where they actually missed something. Well, the bank didn't tell them that. I was the one that told them that, or my website was the one that told them that, and they were successful in getting a modification. We do not give the bank any reason to say no.
You're listening to This Week in America. Our guest is Mick Barron. He is the president, founder, and creator of howtomodify.com. Created it, if you just joined us on the program, because he went through what literally tens of thousands of people are going through, financial difficulties back in 2008. Howtomodify.com is a self-help home loan modification system. I got a couple minutes left in the program. I want to talk about a recent case you had. A young lady came back from the military, was welcomed back to the States with a foreclosure notice, and you were able to help her. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, this is a very sad situation and unfortunately somewhat common. Military personnel, Hispanic descendant, basically one of the issues she had is she went to the military and she came back, found a foreclosure notice in her mail. There's a lot of laws protecting a military personnel in this situation. One of the top 5 banks is the one that sent the foreclosure notice. She came to our website. We immediately got our paperwork processed and we stopped the foreclosure. And she has some benefits that maybe a person that's non-military wouldn't. However, it was totally unacceptable that she received this notice of foreclosure because she had informed the bank that she was military and was protected under those policies.
Also with testimonials, you've got Nancy, you've got Bob, and just an example of literally hundreds of people that you've dealt with. The problems are fairly common. The banks are not that cooperative. Like you said before, if you make a mistake, it's not up to them to tell you what the mistake is. They just say no, and they go on to the next one, where you're there to give them the right information. It has to be rewarding when you hear from these people and literally very emotional state at that time, when they come to you distressed, and then when they find out, I'm able to save the family home. We don't have to look for another place. We can stay here.
What's really rewarding is some of the cards I get from the kids and whatnot, and the families, and appreciation. It's just amazing the generosity of these people who have had such financial difficulties, what they do for us, and how they show their appreciation.
Mick Barron is our guest on the program. The website is howtomodify.com. Link at that for that on our website, thisweekinamerica.us, help home loan modification system. Mick is the president, founder, and creator. Great information there. Mick, we'll have you back on the program to talk about what's currently happening in the situation. So is now a good time? I got 30 seconds left. Now a good time to really get involved and to get this modification process started?
The best time is to start as soon as possible because, again, I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's a 3 to 6 month process. So all I can say is, we have so many people that come to us when they're, in the last stages of foreclosure. That's not the time. If you see a problem in your future, that's the time to act because this is not a quick process.
The information is available at howtomodify.com. Mick, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Rick, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too. You're listening to This Week in America and the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network.